Colleen?
more extremist list.
Well, the 9/11 Commission found that there was no connection between Iraq and Al-Qaeda. That was actually at the tail end of their report. They found that all of those deceptions about weapons of mass destruction. So basically, that report does not justify the Iraq war. You know, if you want to say it justifies Afghanistan, maybe, but it doesn't justify Iraq. And I just wanted to add on the part about the budget. We're at 14, the debt ceiling was raised to $14.3 trillion. And, you know, you and others claim to be conservative. I hear Rush Limbaugh every 2 seconds saying, "We conservatives."
You listen to him a lot more than I do.
Well, you know, what's conservative about your terms of taking $5.6 trillion, which is what Bush had coming in, to $10 trillion, and then voting for the bailout at the end of Bush's term? And I'm wondering if this $14 trillion now, which is causing great concern, certainly to lots of people, bipartisan.
Sure.
And I think it is very fiscally conservative. There's a debt commission that's just formed to look at things, including entitlements. And I know that you used to favor privatizing Social Security. So would you now favor cutting some of those entitlements in order, and possibly privatizing Social Security in order to try to get that debt to come down?
Wow.
I'm worried about that because I know that you stumped for privatizing Bush's plan back in 2005. And it is, you just mentioned, it's one of the biggest sources of the debt.
Social Security is, as you know very well, Colleen, it is a huge unfunded liability. It's nowhere near as big as Medicare in terms of unfunded liability. There is no question that both of those entitlements have to be addressed. You know very well they have to be addressed in a bipartisan way. No party can step in there and fix it. You know very well that President Bush expended his so-called political capital by saying that the system's in trouble and we have to fix it. It's not entirely clear what the Bush plan was. That was part of the problem, I would argue. He never really had a bill. He just had an idea. At one point, I went over to the White House to talk to them about this, and at that one point, there were 14 different bills in the House to address Social Security. Every one of them was different. I have said for a long time that I believe that we need to guarantee that the people who are on Social Security get every single dime that they're supposed to get. We have to look at what we're going to do, what that system is going to be, and I don't know what it is, what it's going to be for younger people. I have believed that it would be better if they owned it themselves. But whatever we do, we're going to have to sit down and address it. And there aren't many choices about what you can do. You can lower the entitlements, and the most likely way to do that is the way they did it back in the mid-'80s, and that's raise the retirement age. It's not very popular, but so we're going to have to look at something like that at some time.
More unemployment.
I'm sorry?
If you raise the retirement age, you're going to get more unemployment because those people, they're trying to work longer and we don't have to work for them.
Well, I think you know, well, I don't know if you know, but the issue with Social Security is we have an ever smaller number of people who are working and an ever-growing number of people who are retired. That's just a fact. It's not a Republican fact. It's not a Democrat fact. It's just a fact. You know, we went from over 30 to workers per retiree to 16, and now we're just over 2 workers per retiree, and it's getting worse because my age is starting to retire. And so we're going to have to address it. There is no question about it. And my point is that when we address it, everything that we do, we've got to absolutely guarantee that people who are drawing Social Security, have been counting on Social Security, are going to be able to get everything they were expecting. And Republicans and Democrats, it's going to be a tough position to take politically. You're going to have to come together, and we have to decide what we're going to do to address it. Oh, yes, sir, right here again.
We're going to pay for it with inflation. That's what we're going to pay for it. We're spending, creating more money, and we're manufacturing less goods. We're going to have a lot of inflation.
You're absolutely right. And we're going to have, by the way, there's no question that interest rates are going to go up here shortly. I think you would agree with that. Even the Chinese and the Japanese won't continue to loan us money at these interest rates. So we have got a giant problem. And I wish I had a magic wand, Colleen, but you know that I don't. Yes, sir.